Watch this before you shop at Tesco again. No, seriously, Tesco employees are literally warning people to avoid these 7 products. And once you find out why, you'll understand why some staff won't touch them, even with their discount. Behind those bright aisles and cheerful price tags are items that look perfectly normal, but hide problems Tesco doesn't want you thinking about. We're talking about contaminated food that made it past safety checks, date labels you can't trust, and budget products that damage your health more than they save your wallet. Employees see it all, the recalls nobody hears about, the shortcuts that keep costs down, the products quietly pulled before most customers noticed. They've watched people load their trolleys with things they'd never buy themselves. By the end of this list, you'll realise it's not paranoia, it's inside knowledge from people who work there every day. Stay with me because number 3 is something almost everyone buys regularly. Finest 6 luxury mince pies Tesco. Finest luxury mince pies sold in packs of 6 were recalled because pieces of the packaging material broke off and contaminated the actual pies. Physical contamination from the box itself is getting baked into the food. The Food Standards Agency issued an urgent recall notice on December 18, 2024, covering products with best before dates of December 25, 2024 and January 8, 2025. That's 2 separate production batches, over more than 2 weeks. This wasn't a single machine error on one shift. This was a manufacturing problem that continued long enough to affect multiple batches distributed across the country. Think about what had to go wrong here. The packaging machinery either malfunctioned or wasn't properly maintained. Quality control staff didn't spot fragments of box material in the finished pies during inspection. The products passed through multiple checkpoints, got boxed, shipped to distribution centres, and stacked on Tesco shelves. Nobody noticed the contamination until customers started complaining. And these weren't budget products. These were Tesco Finest, the premium range that costs nearly twice what regular mince pies cost because it's supposed to represent superior quality and extra care. If Tesco can't keep bits of cardboard and packaging adhesive out of their most expensive seasonal products, what does that tell you about their quality control? For seniors, eating food contaminated with packaging material poses real risks. Your digestive system processes food, not industrial packaging components. Box fragments have sharp edges that can damage your throat or stomach lining. Any adhesives or inks on the packaging contain chemicals your body shouldn't be ingesting. Your liver and kidneys, already working harder as you age, have to deal with foreign substances they weren't designed to break down. How many families bought these pies in early December for Christmas? How many people served them to guests without knowing they contained packaging contamination? How many children ate pieces of dried glue because the label said Finest? There's no way to track down everyone who purchased them because most shoppers don't keep receipts for bakery items. Employees say this recall embarrassed the entire company. When your flagship premium range fails basic safety standards, it destroys trust. If packaging can contaminate Finest products, what's happening with the budget and mid-range items that get less attention? If their most expensive products can't be kept safe, why would you trust anything else? Employees say the only reason this was caught at all was because enough customers complained about strange textures in their pies. In other words, the testing and quality checks failed and ordinary shoppers became the safety net. British chicken breast fillets. Tesco British chicken breast fillets, sold in 600-gram packs, were recalled because they carried a use-by date of December 29th, 2024, when the correct date was actually December 22nd, 2024. That's 7 extra days. A full week where customers thought the chicken was still safe when it should have been thrown away. 7 days. Use-by dates on chicken aren't suggestions, they're critical safety markers. Chicken is one of the most perishable proteins you can buy. When it goes past its use-by date, bacteria like Salmonella and Campylobacter multiply at exponentially dangerous rates. These bacteria cause severe food poisoning, violent diarrhea, vomiting, fever, and dehydration that can last for days. Think about the families who bought this chicken in mid-December for Christmas meal prep. They looked at the package, saw it was good until December 29th, and stored it in the fridge, thinking they had plenty of time. December 22nd passed, the chicken was now expired. Bacteria were multiplying, but they didn't know that because the label lied. They cooked it on December 27th and served it to their whole family. How many people ate expired chicken because Tesco printed the wrong date? How many Boxing Day gatherings ended with food poisoning because a machine wasn't calibrated properly? For seniors with weakened immune systems, eating expired chicken is genuinely dangerous. Food poisoning at your age isn't just an unpleasant couple of days. It causes severe dehydration that requires hospitalisation. The fluid loss affects your blood pressure and kidney function. Your heart has to work harder when you're dehydrated, which is extremely risky if you already have cardiovascular problems. Employees say date printing errors like this happen because the labelling systems aren't properly maintained or monitored. The machines that print dates on packaging malfunction. Staff don't have time to verify every single product. Items go from production to distribution to store shelves without anyone catching the mistake until it's too late. This wasn't Tesco's only date labelling failure. It's not even close. It's part of a pattern that should terrify you. Chicken is unforgiving when it comes to time and temperature. If you misjudge it by a week, you don't just lose a bit of flavour, you risk a serious infection. Seniors who live alone are particularly vulnerable because they may not notice early symptoms or may delay seeking help. Red cabbage and apple side dish. Tesco's red cabbage and apple, sold in 300-gram chilled packs, was recalled after the wrong use by date was printed on the label. The pack said they were safe to eat until December 30th, 2024. The correct date was December 12th, 2024. 18 days, more than 2.5 weeks, where customers believed this fresh vegetable side was still safe when it was already well past its real shelf life. Prepped vegetables like this are especially vulnerable to bacterial growth. Once cabbage and apple are chopped, mixed and packed with dressing or sauce, bacteria have more surfaces and moisture to work with. Kept in a fridge for 3 weeks past their genuine limit, they become breeding grounds for foodborne pathogens, even if they still look mostly normal on the surface. For seniors, eating produce that's been sitting around that long is genuinely risky. As you age, your stomach produces less acid. That acid is one of your body's natural defenses against bacteria in food. When it's reduced, more bacteria survive long enough to cause infection. What might give a younger person mild stomach upset can give you severe food poisoning with days of pain, diarrhea, and dangerous dehydration. The Food Standards Agency didn't mince words in its recall notice. It stated that keeping and consuming the product beyond its true use by date could pose a health risk. That's the official language for, if you eat this nearly 3 weeks out of date, you could end up very ill. How many Christmas dinners included this red cabbage pulled from the fridge on December 24th or 28th because the label said it was safe until the 30th? How many people, especially older relatives, ate something that was already well past its real safe life? How many got sick and never connected it to the vegetables they'd trusted because the date said they were fine? When you see an 18-day difference between the printed date and the real one, you can't dismiss it as a small mistake. This is another piece of evidence that Tesco's date management systems are fundamentally unreliable. The dangerous part is that a dish like this can still look and smell fine right up until you eat it. You can't see bacteria with the naked eye. You can't smell them. You only discover the problem when your body reacts hours later. Tzatziki dip, Tesco tzatziki dip, sold in 200-gram tubs, with a use by date of November 24th, 2024, was recalled because it contained live salmonella bacteria. Not a risk of contamination, not a theoretical possibility. Actual salmonella was found in the product during testing. Real, active, dangerous bacteria. Salmonella causes severe illness, fever, violent diarrhea, intense abdominal cramps, and vomiting that won't stop. Most healthy adults recover within a week, but for some people, especially seniors, and anyone with a compromised immune system, the infection becomes serious enough to require hospitalization. In extreme cases, it can be fatal. And here's what makes this particularly terrifying. Tzatziki is a cold dip. You're not cooking it. You're not heating it up. You're eating it straight from the container with crackers, vegetables, pita bread, or as a sauce on cold sandwiches. There's no heat treatment to kill the bacteria. If salmonella is in there, you're consuming it directly. Every bite delivers live bacteria into your digestive system. For seniors, salmonella infection is serious business. Your immune system doesn't respond as quickly or as strongly as it once did. Your stomach acid production decreases with age, which means you have less natural protection against bacteria that younger people might fight off more easily. The severe diarrhea and vomiting cause rapid, dangerous dehydration. That dehydration affects your kidneys, drops your blood pressure, and throws your electrolytes out of balance, which can disrupt your heart rhythm and cause cardiac events. Think about how people use tzatziki. A quick snack, a side with lunch, a dip at a party where it sits out for hours in a warm room, giving the bacteria even more time to multiply. How many people got sick? How many never connected their symptoms to the dip they'd had with lunch 3 days earlier? Employees say the contamination likely happened either at the supplier's facility or during handling and packaging at Tesco's own operations. Either way, it made it through whatever quality testing and safety checks Tesco supposedly has in place. Live bacteria in a finished product reached store shelves and was purchased by customers. If salmonella can make it into finished products, what else is slipping through undetected? Cold dips feel harmless because they aren't heavy meals, just something you snack on. That false sense of safety is exactly what makes contaminated products like this so dangerous. Stockwell & Co. budget range products. Stockwell & Co. is Tesco's rebranded budget line. It used to be called Tesco Value with the distinctive blue and white striping. Now it's Stockwell, with slightly fancier packaging, designed to make it look less obviously cheap. But employees and long-time customers both report that the quality has declined significantly since the rebrand. The products don't taste the same, the ingredients have changed. Everything feels more watered down, more chemical, less like actual food. Take the mayonnaise. Stockwell mayonnaise lists water as the first ingredient, followed by rapeseed oil at only 25%, then glucose fructose syrup. Compare that to Tesco's standard mayonnaise, which contains 78% rapeseed oil and uses actual eggs as primary ingredients. You're not getting mayonnaise with Stockwell, you're getting thickened water with some oil and sweetener mixed in to approximate the taste. The baked beans tell the same story. Customers who used to buy Tesco value beans say the Stockwell version is noticeably more watery. The sauce is thin and runny. The beans themselves are mushier. They taste different, and not in a good way. The texture is off, the flavour is weaker. For seniors on fixed incomes who rely on budget products to stretch their pension, this matters enormously. You're buying what looks like mayonnaise or beans or yogurt, but you're getting inferior products with cheaper ingredients, more fillers, and less of what actually makes the product what it claims to be. The packaging suggests value. What's inside suggests corner cutting and contempt for customers who can't afford anything better. And here's what employees tell you. Tesco rebranded the value range to compete with discount supermarkets like Aldi and Lidl. But instead of matching their quality at lower prices like the discounters actually do, Tesco just put nicer packaging on worse products and hoped customers wouldn't notice the difference. The problem is that people do notice. The chocolate mousse has a weird chemical aftertaste that lingers. The shower gel's so diluted it's practically useless. Kids refuse to eat the yogurt because it tastes artificial. Families end up throwing half of it away. You think you're saving money. What you're actually doing is buying products with such low nutritional value and poor quality that you waste money on food nobody wants to finish. Over time, eating products like these means you're getting fewer vitamins, fewer minerals, and less real protein than your body needs. For seniors, that can mean slower wound healing, weaker muscles, and a harder time fighting off infections. You might think you're doing the right thing by cutting your food bill, but you're really cutting your nutritional safety net. The Hearty Food. Co-frozen ready meals. The Hearty Food Co. sounds like a real independent company making quality comfort food, doesn't it? Like something your grandmother might have trusted? It's not. It's another Tesco-owned brand creation, part of their strategy to disguise budget products as something more trustworthy and established. These are frozen ready meals, pasta dishes, lasagnas, cottage pies, breaded proteins, chips, all positioned as good value family food. But employees say the quality is questionable at best. These meals are loaded with fat, especially the meat-based products. The mince that goes into these dishes can be 20% fat or higher. That's 1/5 of what you're eating as pure fat. 1/5. For seniors with heart conditions, high cholesterol, or any cardiovascular issues, eating food with that much fat regularly is terrible for their health. It clogs your arteries, it raises your cholesterol, it increases your risk of a heart attack and stroke. The sodium content is equally alarming. Ready meals in general are packed with salt to enhance flavour and extend shelf life. Budget ready meals are even worse because they use cheaper ingredients that need heavy seasoning to taste like anything. High sodium intake causes water retention, raises blood pressure dangerously, strains your kidneys, and increases your risk of serious cardiac events. For seniors already managing these health issues, eating high sodium ready meals regularly is asking for trouble. And the nutritional value? Minimal. These meals are engineered to fill you up cheaply, not to nourish you. They're heavy on refined carbohydrates and low-quality protein, light on vegetables, and essential nutrients your body actually needs. You might feel full after eating one, but you haven't given your body much it can actually use for repair and health. Employees say they wouldn't feed these meals to their own families. They see what goes into them during production and handling. They know how they're made, they know the quality of ingredients being used, and they choose to buy from other brands or cook from scratch instead. If Tesco needs to invent fake brands with friendly names to make budget products look more appealing, that should tell you everything about what's actually in them. For many seniors, these meals are tempting because they seem easy. No chopping, no cooking. Just heat and eat. But easy doesn't mean safe or healthy. When every shortcut is built on fat, salt and cheap carbs, you pay the price with your health rather than at the till. 10 cooked beef slices Tesco. 10 cooked beef slices, sold in 125-gram packs, were recalled in December 2024 because of a labelling error showing an incorrect use by date of January 24th, 2025, when the product should have been consumed much earlier. This wasn't just any product. This was ready-to-eat sliced beef that people put straight into sandwiches without any additional cooking. Ready-to-eat meat is one of the highest risk food categories you can buy. When the date is wrong, you're eating meat that's been sitting in your fridge, breeding bacteria like listeria, which is particularly dangerous for seniors. But here's what makes this the #1 warning. This is the 4th date labelling failure we've covered in this video alone. 4 products where the printed date was dangerously wrong. Chicken labelled safe for 7 extra days. Red cabbage given 18 extra days. Mince pies with incorrect dates across multiple batches. And now ready-to-eat beef slices with wrong dates that could have caused serious listeria infections. 4 date failures. That's not a coincidence. That's not bad luck. That's a systemic problem with Tesco's date management systems. If they're printing wrong dates often enough that the Food Standards Agency has to keep issuing urgent recalls, how confident can you be that the date on any package you pick up is actually accurate? The answer is, you can't be confident. You can't trust it. The systems are fundamentally unreliable. Employees say the date printing machines malfunction regularly. They're not properly maintained or calibrated. Staff don't have time to verify every product that comes through. Items that should be pulled from shelves sometimes sit there for days because nobody's checking consistently. For seniors, this is the most critical takeaway. Your immune system cannot handle the risks that come with eating expired meat products. Listeria infection at your age isn't just unpleasant, it's genuinely life-threatening. It can cause meningitis, an infection of the brain and spinal cord that can be fatal. The dehydration from food poisoning can land you in the hospital, affect your kidneys, drop your blood pressure dangerously, and put severe strain on your heart. So the single most important rule, avoid any Tesco meat, dairy, or chilled ready-to-eat product that's within 3 days of its use by date. The pattern of date failures makes these products especially dangerous. Choose products with dates further out, or shop elsewhere for high-risk items. The scariest part is that this kind of meat looks perfectly fine, even when it's gone past its true safe date. It doesn't always smell bad or change colour in a way you can see. You make a sandwich, you eat it, and only hours or days later do you feel the effects. If this video helped you understand what's really happening at Tesco, share it with friends and family who shop there. They need this information too.